Today's Patreon shout-out comes to you with thanks for Kerry Driver. Niko, Light of Hope, versus Shanid, Mowu, and Kaalia. Decided to keep this hand already. Haven't seen Shanid in quite a while. I do very much enjoy that commander. Don't think I got much chance to play it though. Just some tap lands for our opponent. We draw into a mana drain, so we'll, as ever, go for the Urza's Saga on turn 1, which I'm running more of nowadays. Ever since the fast mana was banned, we want a fairly consistent means of getting into the Sol Ring. It is slow, but not often that the Urza's Saga will eat removal. Multiple utility tap lands have entered, so Aurum Reef for the green player, Minas Tirith for the Mardu deck, and then Hall of the Bandit Lord in order to get haste onto his Kaalia when it enters on turn 4, we'll assume. The first spell we see cast is Sinu, Keen-Eyed Protector, Flying Vigilance 2-1. Oh, I added this to my bird tribal list a few weeks ago. So you can exile it, and then when a legendary creature you control attacks and isn't blocked, you can put it onto the battlefield tapped and attacking if it's an exile. So that'll be good with legendary ETBs. The mono green player is holding up double greens, so might have a means of removing our Urza's Saga. This is an enchantment, don't forget. Like I said, people don't tend to point removal at it though. We get more counter magic in the Fierce Guardianship, so obviously just play the Azorius Signet. And we'll have access to a Sol Ring next turn, so we're going to have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. So probably just get down our commander. Suppose if we do have a land next turn, then we could go 6 mana into the Silverwing Squadron. Kaalia gets down Swiftfoot Boots, multiple means of gaining haste. Hangerback Walker for the counters player. So at the moment we'll only make 1 Thopter, but I'm sure there's a means of getting more counters on there. This only cares about green creatures that entered, I think. Yeah, so can't use that on the Hangerback. Tries to anyway though. Multiple legendary utility lands here, so that is Hammerheim. Target creature loses all landwalk abilities. Shizo can give a legendary creature fear. Played a Stone Eric. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead, and you can exile a player's graveyard to draw a card with that. Lightning Greaves as well. Getting ready for the commander to enter play next turn, I dare say. So we might see an exile onto the bird here. Swings in at us with the Sinu. Alright, so let's see if we get into a land here or not. We do. So in response to the Urza's Saga, as ever, we tap it for mana first, and then go and fetch ourselves a Sol Ring with that. So this slows us down with regards to our commander, because obviously we don't have haste for that, but we can start making tokens with the Silverwing Squadron next turn as well, so yeah, I don't think we're going to see board wipes this early on. Let's go for a Tundra. And that maximises the amount of mana that we could have made this turn, so hopefully that will stay in play. Pretty much need our Sol Ring to stay in play as well, either that or we consistently make land drops for the rest of the game. Ideally we'd get Agent of Treachery into play soon so that we could start drawing cards with that, making copies of it. Kinda need everything to go right for us though. Strionic Resonator for Kaalia, and is he going to miss a land drop here? Yeah, looks like he is. That's pretty rough going. Don't think I've ever seen a Kaalia deck go off really. Always tends to have bad luck with that. Can be difficult to fix your colours and your ramping Mardu. Mowu comes down on turn 4, deciding not to exile the Senu for a free 2 life and scry 2, which might suggest that he's not able to get his commander out this turn. He could have chanced on top decking into a land though. Instead shows us a Thalia, so that can slow down our lands that are entering. But at least even if we had haste on our commander, we wouldn't be able to make use of it now anyway, because it is a tap ability. And this time the Bird Scout goes into the Mowu player, and then leaving it at that. So thankfully we've got the Fierce Guardianship in order to protect our commander when we bring it in here. Trying to Panharmonicon is obviously a good one as well. So let's go for swinging in first of all. Go into the left, because that should be safe when that player's only got 2 mana held up. In response, scoops on us. And I think our opponent doing that might have just crashed the client, because now I can't pass priority once attacks are declared. Oh, actually I can pull it back. Right, so hopefully I should be able to attack in at the mono green player instead. Gonna get fewer tokens here now. Not a problem though, otherwise everyone would be complaining about it. So now with that we'll get our Niko into play as well. We are missing land drops unfortunately, so we're in a precarious position here. But we'll get a couple of shard tokens upon entry for the Niko, and these should be able to become copies of the Silverwing Squadron next turn, hopefully, which will continue to give us a good board presence. Elvish Mystic from the green deck, and then Orimreef the Vastwood. He's not going to be playing any more green creatures apparently, so puts a plus counter on the Mystic. Hangaback Walker puts a plus counter on itself with its own ability. Haven't seen any Hardened Scales or Ozolith for additional counters yet. And the 3-3 swings in to the right. Is he forgetting about the first strike here? We might see another Shame Scoop here, unless he can buff that at instant speed. Alright, deciding to just block. If he goes for the block and exile, then the trample damage will go through. Alright, instead just allowing that to go down. I'm not sure what his aim is with this creature. He wasn't really making much use of it. Lauren coming into play, and that could really hurt our Sol Ring, assuming, yep, that's what it's going after. Nothing we can do about that. 3-2 goes in at Mowu, and now we'll see, yeah, they have Heroic Intervention, so that was the plan all along, so we get our lands to come into play untapped at least. Wasting a Heroic Intervention in my opinion, just to get rid of a Kaalia though. It's only a matter of time before someone goes for a board wipe. The Lightning Greaves could always have Lauren tapped to have each player draw a card. Or actually it's you and a target opponent, so might be pointed at us when we've got a lack of mana. Bloodbirth Viper would have been good to get down with the Sol Ring, but I think we just have to make use of Niko's ability. Target the Silverwing Squadron, and we don't have to worry about Summoning Sickness because the shards have been in play since last turn. So that puts the Silverwing Squadron into exile, but we're better off swinging in with these two straight away anyhow. So let's punish the Mardu player for getting rid of our Sol Ring. And that means that we get 2 Silverwing Squadron triggers, each bringing in a couple of Vigilance Knights, and they are buffed up to 9/9, so that's 18 damage with these two alone. 22 damage in total, and it's pretty much a board wipe finishing us off here. So they're down to 16. Niko at the beginning of the end step brings the Squadron back into play and deanimates the shards. Not too likely to see a board wipe from the Mowu player. Sword of Truth and Justice will add a plus counter to the Mowu and proliferate, so this is what they've been eager to get going with the Mowu, I think. Plus counter onto the Hangaback Walker again as a little bit of Wrath Protection, and the 5-5 can swing straight through us thanks to the Pro White. It looks like it's a 2v1. The card draw from Lauren goes towards the green player. We can counter a board wipe at least for free, so it might be worth us just continuing to go off with the Silverwing Squadron. Yeah, there's the Shanid that I'm sure they wanted in before now. They're going to continue to lose life into that at least. Not putting haste onto their commander, and now putting the Lightning Greaves on there in order to protect it against any kind of spot removal. So if we swing in with the Silverwing Squadron and get through 4 tokens, then we get more than 16 damage because this will get buffed. So we can hold up the Ghostway and some counter magic. I think that's just the best way to go about this now, seeing as how we're not drawing into mana. Could always play the Wayfarer's Bauble, I suppose. Although we couldn't hold up double blue for the mana drain then, could we? Anyway, go through to combat. We won't make copies with the shards. Swing in with everything to the right apart from the Niko. And gambling on getting down the Squadron was a good play apparently. So they're just taking all the damage and going down to -6. Our Squadron is now a 10/10. So I think I will risk, seeing as how we have the Fierce Guardianship. I think the only board wipes they're going to get into really are the, Ugins and Artifact board wipes like Nevermel's Disc and stuff, so I think it's safe to get down the Wayfarer's Bauble and not hold up the mana drain, famous last words. A Swiftfoot Boots. 3 cards in hand. I wouldn't have thought they could get enough power onto Mowu. In fact, they hit us with this. Did they not put a plus counter on their commander? I didn't really pay much attention to the proliferate thing. A Vivian Reed. This can destroy an artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying, so I think we have to try and keep our Silverwing Squadron in play. We'll counter that, and then we should easily be able to hold up double blue to protect our board with the mana drain, because we'll have cracked the Wayfarer's Bauble this turn. So Swiftfoot Boots onto Mowu. It has Pro White and Blue anyway, which is perfect against us. And swings in for another 5 points of commander. Could have been worse off here if they'd gone for the plus counter on there previously. Yeah, putting it onto the elf there, I'm not sure I'm not sure what their plan is with this Sword of Truth and Justice. But anyway, we'll go for Wayfarer's Bauble being cracked. Make sure that we can easily hold up double blue to protect the board. And now, can we one-shot our opponent here? We'll be pretty damn close. There's an Enlightened Tutor. I think we just go for a copy of the Squadron with these shard tokens. Yeah, now we've got a couple of 11/11s and a bunch of 2/2 Vigilance creatures. So just swing in with everything. And once the creatures enter, these jump up to 13/13, so 26 damage there alone. I think we may well one-shot our opponent here. 6 of the 2/2s are getting through, so that's 12 plus 26 is 38. And yep, send them down to -3. So, well, that was a bit of an exhibition match, I suppose. We didn't really show off that much of Niko, but we didn't really have that much mana throughout the game, just held onto a Soul Ring for a few turns, and that was enough to get things moving for us. But doing all that with pretty much 2 lands the entire game is pretty impressive, I think, so I think this is a fun game to show you all. And if you do want to see an actual game from Niko, Light of Hope, then you'll have to let me know in the comments section as ever. Massive thank you to the patrons for their support of the channel as well. You can do that yourself via the link in the description below. Big thank you to those of you who do decide to do that. I'm tribalkai. Thank you for watching.